People love hydrangeas, and over the seasons we've talked a lot about the different ones and how you should manage them. The plant breeders have come up with yet some new ones. We're going to talk a little bit about some of the ones that are available for the landscape. A bit of a reminder, we talk about 4 different shrub types of hydrangeas: the panicle hydrangeas, the smooth hydrangeas, the oak leaf hydrangeas, and the big leaf hydrangeas. And of those, the panicle hydrangea by far, including the new selections, is the toughest, the roughest, and the best suited for a lot of pretty crummy conditions. Tardiva is probably the best known older panicle hydrangea. These are 100% woody, so they will bloom on new wood later in the season, and they're pretty tough. Limelight has a newer, smaller cousin, and that is little lime, and as it sounds, it is very floriferous, but it's in a much smaller package because the panicle hydrangeas can get quite large. This is one of the newer ones. This is Sweet Summer, and even though it has kind of gone into its fall color, which is the lime green, and it looks like it's a little bit lax, that is simply because it's in a container. Once you get them in the ground, and if you provide water, well watered, for the first 2 seasons, you're going to have something that's going to be very, very drought tolerant. When we talk about the oak leaf hydrangeas, the great big ones again get large. Quickfire is one of the ones that now has a smaller version called Little Quickfire. Little Quickfire blooms earlier than the other ones. It's also in a smaller package, 3 to 5 feet. There's also one called Pinky Winky, and great big fabulous flowers. If they're on standard like this, you have to manage them a little differently. And a beautiful one is one called Ruby Slippers. Great foliage and kind of this ruby reddish color of flower panicles. So that one earlier in the season looks absolutely spectacular. The smooth hydrangeas, Annabelle of course is the gold standard. We have Incredible. There is also one called Invincible Spirit, which has a pink tone to it. And that one is really a hydrangea from the heart because it was released for breast cancer awareness. You'll notice I have not talked about the big leaf hydrangeas much, or the macrophyllus. This is one of them, and this is one that has actually been bred for a stronger stem and stronger flowering, which hopefully will help it survive our winter months. One of the issues with the big leaf hydrangeas, endless summer as an example, is you get them in the ground, they bloom once, then they do not bloom again. So in order of preference, if I were to choose the newer hydrangeas, I would look first at the smaller panicle types for a small landscape. I would then move to the smaller oak leaves, which are going to take a little bit more shade, the smaller or the newer varieties of smooth hydrangea. And finally, if you really need to have one of those macrophylla types, choose Grateful Red, which has better buds than its Grateful Dead endless summer cousin.